What's going on, everybody? You're listening to episode 23 of Trash Gear Radio. I'm your host, Tyler, joined today by the frag master himself, Lucas.
Yeah, yeet!
And the conspiracy theory master himself, Chance.
I can't compete with what Lucas just did, so.
Chance is low energy. Lucas
Bring
is
it
high
on
energy
the
right
table.
now, but it's all right. Chance is heartbroken right now because his Saints were stolen the Super Bowl appearance that they deserved.
Fuck yeah.
All right, guys, before we get into it, make sure you go follow us at Twitter at TrashGearSports. Make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube, Spotify, Google Play. Check us out there. Make sure you listen to last week's podcast.
We out there.
Like Lucas said, we are out there. But I tell you what, this was such a good weekend of football. Well, good and bad. It depends on how you look at it. Both games went into overtime, which I think is the first time that's ever
It
happened.
was definitely the most exciting championship weekend.
That is for sure. The most controversial weekend as well. So we're first going to start with the Patriots at Chiefs, where the Patriots won in overtime. The score was 37-31. Came down to the last quarter almost, and then it was just score, and then it came down. Tom Brady won the coin flip, and Patrick Mahomes never had a chance to even touch the ball. So that's one big controversy going on right now. So I tell you what, we'll start with Chance on this one. What was your reaction to the game?
Yeah, it's pretty much what I expected to happen. Andy Reid had a chance, and the Chiefs had a chance to win the game. Drove down the field, but just left too much time on the clock. In the fourth quarter, they left Brady with about a minute and 30 seconds, and he just marched down and fucking scored. He took the lead, and then they left about 30 seconds on the clock, and somehow Mahomes drove down the field and got them in the field goal range for a game-tying field goal, which was pretty fucking sick.
Yeah, that was definitely probably the highlight of his career so far was that 30-second drive.
It took him 18 seconds to move like 50 yards downfield.
I mean,
with no timeouts.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I think it was they scored 3 touchdowns in like 3 minutes or something like that. Which, I mean, granted, they did have a drive, I think, that started. Oh, never mind. No, it didn't start in the fourth quarter, or third quarter in the transfer. But, yeah, like I said, if you look at the last couple, starting at the fourth quarter, it went turnover on downs, punt, interception, touchdown, field goal, and a half. Which then put it into overtime. So, it's like the game was crazy. Like, it was like there was nothing. It was so boring. And then
out of nowhere, it just fucking
it was like, boom,
up.
this is the game we were expecting.
Got to the point where they were just like, just let them score so we can have the ball back.
Yeah.
Like they weren't even playing defense.
Chiefs actually had that game won. They got a game-sealing interception off Tom Brady in the fourth.
I forgot about
last drive, but the Chiefs' defensive lineman D. Ford was 5 yards offside. So
Dude, it was horrible.
Play was nullified. Tom Brady drives down the field and scores.
He was literally so much. He was into the neutral fraction zone or whatever the hell it's called.
He literally, they showed it on TV. His whole fucking front half of his body was across the line of scrimmage. It was
how does he do that? Like, you're in the championship game and you literally just cost your team.
And no one looks over. They go fucker.
Dude, all he had to
back.
do was fucking lay on his back 10 yards behind the fucking play, and they would have won the game.
But this dude's fucking lucky though that the controversy in New Orleans happened, because I feel like this is getting passed by a lot.
Yeah, I do too.
Well, so the other controversy was that a Tom Brady roughing the passer was called on Tom Brady pretty much. And it was on that last drive. I think one of the last drives he scored a touchdown. Pretty much the defenseman kind of swung his hand down and it barely grazed the front of his helmet and hit his shoulder.
It definitely wasn't egregious, but it was still on his head. You can't make contact to his head.
Yeah, it's a rule.
That's just how it is. Even if you spit on him or fucking breathe on his head, it's still on his head.
So you're just not allowed to touch his head at all? That's in the rules.
Nothing can touch the quarterback's head. It's an automatic penalty.
That's kind of some horse shit. Just saying. I mean, you shouldn't be able to spear him in the head or anything
That's
that.
That's the Aaron Rodgers rule.
What, you just can't touch him anywhere in the face?
Anywhere in the head.
I thought the Aaron Rodgers rule was you weren't allowed to land on him.
Well,
because that's how you break collarbones.
But this was a prior Aaron Rodgers rule.
Yeah, any contact to the
Aaron
head.
Rodgers.
So it was obviously light. It wasn't aggressive. It probably might have been an accident, but it still touched his head. So that's just how it is. You gotta
I didn't know that was
control your arms.
I didn't know that was the the law right there. That was the word on it.
And I think that's why it's not as big of a controversy as the other one. because it's like actually the right call.
No, I think more than this one, it was more that D Ford was off.
Yeah.
You know, and literally they got an interception right off Gronk's hands, right into, I don't know who caught it. Was it Reed or not Reed? Barry. Was
I think it was Eric Berry caught it.
But the Chiefs had a pretty shitty first half, so they could have easily won this game if they would have scored another touchdown. I mean, that's obvious, but their first half wasn't good.
So now, like watching the game, like I feel like the Patriots should have been up more than 2 touchdowns at the end of the half. Like I feel like they should have been up like 3 or 4 at the end.
Yeah, both teams were pretty shitty the first half. They looked pretty slow and out of place. But then, like you said, at the end of the third, like beginning of the fourth quarter, it just picked up out of nowhere, and both teams were just fucking slinging it.
Yeah, this was the first game the Chiefs had all year that they didn't score in the first quarter, I think. So.
Now, would you guys say this is another episode in Tom Brady's GOAT story?
For sure.
He's 100% the greatest player of all time.
He played phenomenal.
See, here's my thing, though, is that he pretty much had 3 interceptions this game.
He still won.
He only had 2, but that one got nullified. He had one right in the end zone. He almost had a game-losing interception.
He also had a game-winning drive.
Listen, Tom
Exactly.
Brady's the GOAT. I'm just saying that.
And you go into the loudest stadium in the league. It's pretty clutch.
So I'm just saying,
As
Tom
an
Brady,
underdog.
Tom Brady, he did good, but I just don't think it was compared to like Tom Brady. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
On a Tom Brady standard, it
Could have
was.
destroyed them more, but he still got the W. He's going to his fucking whatever consecutive Super Bowl.
I think this is his 9th total Super Bowl. Some shit like that.
Which Sony Michel had 113 yards on 29 carries. So like their run game was still there. You know what I mean? Julian Edelman was crazy. Like is he a Hall of Famer?
Julian Edelman?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he played phenomenal.
I don't think
too.
he's a Hall of Famer.
You don't think just because of his playoff performance? You don't think he's a Hall of Famer?
No.
Maybe if he gets another one, and this one this year, but
I don't know.
he played amazing. He's definitely lucky to have Tom Brady, and Tom Brady's lucky to have him. But he's playing good.
It's crazy to think that he was drafted as a quarterback too.
Like every time, like there was a couple times where he literally would catch the ball and just get instantly just fucking hammered, and it's like you knew he was gonna hold on to it. Like it was crazy.
He's probably the most clutch playoff wide receiver ever, but I don't think he's a Hall of Famer.
You don't think he's a Hall of Famer?
No.
Not even like a 3rd, 4th, 5th ballot?
No, there's so many better wide receivers that haven't gotten in yet that just fucking still waiting. I don't think he's better than any of them.
And old-ass Rob Gronkowski, man, he showed up even in the clutch, too.
He actually
Huge
did. He
catch.
came alive.
6 receptions for 79 yards. And he just, I mean, out of nowhere, Brady threw him that one right down the sideline, man.
Amazing catch.
I think the real MVP of this game is Tony Romo, the CBS broadcaster.
Yeah, so everyone was talking about Tony Romo and how he literally was calling all of Tom Brady's plays
He was
pretty
great.
much before it even happened.
Literally, he called every single play before it
They
happened.
ran a lot of the same plays.
And then the other thing was then the Chiefs' defensive coordinator got fired
Yeah.
recently. So people brought up as the fact that maybe Tony Romo got his defensive coordinator fired, or got the defensive coordinator fired, because if Tony Romo, some guy who isn't even playing anymore, is able to call out the plays that badly, and you, our defensive coordinator, can't even do it, what does that say about you? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think Tony Romo's going to be a coach in a couple seasons. He's
think
got the skill set for it.
Do you think he's going to replace Myles Garrett? Or Jason Garrett, not Myles.
Jason, he could. I think I
Dude,
could see
imagine
him,
that. Full circle right there, dude.
I
Full
could see him
circle.
becoming the offensive coordinator of the Cowboys at some point.
I think he's a great commenter.
I think he is
commentator.
too. I heard CBS is going to offer him a huge contract, so he won't go back
Really?
to the NFL. Yeah,
He's exciting.
I like him
he
too. He's
brings
fun.
energy,
he's definitely my favorite broadcaster.
and he's got like a good radio voice too. It sounds smooth.
He has that quarterback voice. That's what it is. You know what I mean?
I used to hate him when he was a quarback in the NFL. I always
Oh
thought he
yeah,
was
me
such
too.
I always thought he was such a pussy and paper scanning
Because he had like a
bones.
shattered back, and every time he got hit, he would break his back again.
I was just so tired of Cowboys fans always saying how good he was, but he never did anything in the playoffs. Fucking fumbled the one kickoff back his rookie year.
All-time NFL clip.
Fucking takes off running and gets denied. Fucking Seahawks go to the Super Bowl and Cowboys don't make the playoffs for another 10 years.
Hey man, it happens. Now, if we look at the other side, since there was 2 teams, we talked a lot about New England. How, with the Chiefs, and mainly the head coach, is this kind of proof that Andy Reid is just not a good coach for playoffs?
Oh, I predicted this. I knew he was gonna falter. He's just not a good playoff coach. He has shitty clock management skills. He's an awesome play caller, like fucking phenomenal offensive play caller, but I don't think he's a good head coach.
Now, could you could I make the argument saying that, like, this year, I mean, he faced Tom Brady, and it literally came down to overtime. He wasn't even able to get the ball back. So could you say that, I mean...
But he also let the Patriots score so many times in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, as I said, he left way too much time on the
Yeah, but they
clock
have
in
the
the fourth
32nd.
quarter.
They had, like, the 31st ranked defense. Would you expect them not to score?
That's also probably the biggest priority of the whole Chiefs is their defense. Like, it's terrible.
A good coach would have ran the clock down at the end of the game and not given the ball back to Tom Brady.
I see. And I think the other thing is that the Chiefs' offense is very boom or bust. Like, it's either you get, like, a 40-yard play or you just don't get anything, which I think as Mahomes matures, I think he'll work in, like, the more short intermediate passes to kind of help with the clock and run the ball more, which obviously, since they lost their running back.
Yeah, they need to find a new running back this offseason. That will help a lot with that problem.
So, and did Mahomes look like the next young GOAT? Do he look like a young Billy Goat out
He
there?
looks great.
I think he's going to be an awesome fucking
Definitely
player
wasn't his fault they lost.
for years to come. He looks good.
Do you think in 5 years he'll be the best quarterback?
I could see it, yeah.
I'm just saying.
I agree with you. Also, another week, another shitty video of Chiefs fans.
Why?
Last week they had the Chiefs fans throwing snowballs at the Colts and Andy Reid, and this week they had laser pointers trying to shine in Brady's eyes during the plays.
Imagine if that would have been a laser on Mahomes' face. The fucking world would explode.
You know, that was brought up is that if the game was in New England and that was, like you said, a laser beam in Mahomes' face, it would have been Lasergate then. We'd have Lasergate, dude. And the only reason why Tom Brady won is because Mahomes was blinded by this thing. And, like, no one really has brought, like, it's been a couple places who have mentioned it, but no one else has really mentioned it.
I heard the NFL is investigating it right now.
Whatever the fuck that means. Like, what are they going to do?
Yeah, they're not going to find anything.
Like, you literally can't find that.
Well, like by investigating, is it just make sure that no one from the Chiefs staff was able to do it? Like, I mean, how would you?
I guess.
Probably just means have the Chiefs put a stricter restriction on fucking laser pointers.
Like, how do you even get a laser pointer into the
Probably put it up his ass, right?
I mean, you still gotta go through metal detectors and shit.
Oh, that is true. What if you throw it really high up, okay? You run through and then you just catch it on the other side. Never know.
I was thinking of, like, maybe you like put it in your wallet. And because you don't like put your wallet through the metal detector, you just like kind of slide it through that
could be like a keychain
fucking bins or whatever.
Mm-hmm. I see what you're saying. I like
Maybe
it.
they just like tucked it in their wallet, and just slid it in there.
What if he paid the guy actually? Like he like paid like the guard or whatever.
What if the Chiefs staff actually did it?
Oh, could you imagine?
What if it was like the popcorn vendor or something, just standing there?
Just standing there, but it'd have to be like inside, like, you know, like people do the old, like, you know, hole in the bottom of the popcorn, except it'd be in the front.
It'd be like a big hole in the front of his fucking popcorn.
Someone reaching down in, and every time just the beam goes right to Tom Brady's face.
Oh man, I could see it.
How expensive do you think that laser pointer is?
It was pretty.
Nice lasers are expensive.
That thing was pretty fucking big. So.
Like, if you think about how powerful that laser would have to be to shoot from probably... Because you know someone who had decent seats wasn't doing this. It was someone up in the fucking nosebleeds was shooting down there. Or it was the popcorn vendor.
He had some pretty good aim from what I saw. He was directly on fucking...
It was a little bit shaky, but I mean, at that range, you know?
Dude, that's pretty good for being that far away.
Plus all the yelling and stuff, dude. Now, here's the thing. Do you think the people around him were like...
Do it, man, yeah.
This is a fucking hero right
here.
here.
I bet no one knew what was going on until he, like, said something, you know?
He was like, yo, I'm going to get Tom Brady in the face. What a pussy.
Because you could barely even see it in the video. They had to, like, slow it down.
But it only happened that one time, though, right? Like, it wasn't multiple times.
It was 2 different times from the video.
Two different times? Yeah. I was under the impression it was, like, one time it happened, and then it didn't happen after that, so...
It probably happened the whole
It's probably why I threw that at one interception.
It probably is why.
That's idea here. That beam bounced off his face, hit
D Ford.
D Ford right in the eyes. D Ford looked to see where the football was. Couldn't tell because he was blinded. That fan actually just lost.
After this season, Brady's going to start wearing the fucking deflective visor so lights can't go
like
through.
James Harrison, just a black
Are quarterbacks
visor.
allowed to wear those?
Yeah, anyone can wear them.
Dude, could you imagine?
It'd just be stupid because you have to see as a quarterback.
On a really bright day. But, dude, imagine how terrifying that would be. Seeing Tom Brady back there with just seeing your own reflection in his eyes, dude.
That'd be dope.
He already cheats pretty much just because, like, he knows everything. Let alone he could just completely...
He doesn't even need to fucking see.
He could literally just stare at his wide receiver the whole time and he'd be fine. So, who knows, dude. Next level of Brady right there. So, all right. Was there anything else you wanted to bring up about that game? Chance?
No, I'm good.
All right, Chance, brace yourself. We're talking the Los Angeles Rams at the New Orleans Saints. As I'm sure everyone has seen, the big controversial no call. It wasn't even controversial. It was just a straight up no call. It was a pass interference with, I think, how much time was left?
Like a minute and 30 seconds.
And the Saints were on the 15-yard line?
Yeah, this would have put the ball at like the 3-yard line. The Rams had one timeout left, and the Saints could have taken 3 knees and kicked a field goal with no time left and won.
However, unfortunately, there was a horribly missed pass interference call. And then it became an incompletion. The Saints were only able to get a field goal out of that.
Gave Goff a minute and 20 seconds, one timeout.
Goff marched down the field and scored. Was it a field goal? No, he got a field goal.
Got a field goal, tied it.
Off Legatron. Pushed it to overtime. Drew Brees got the ball first, threw an unlucky interception because I think he was hit as he was throwing it.
Yeah, that should have been a penalty too. They hit him in the fucking head, but...
So then he threw it up, intercepted. Then the Rams really didn't even move it much after they picked it off.
No, their kicker literally just fucking bombed a 57-yard field goal. Probably could have made it from fucking 70 yards.
Yeah, that kicker made his paycheck that day, needless to say.
Oh, he got his dick sucked after that game.
Legatron, as they call him now.
But yeah, it was bullshit.
Well, Chance, the floor is yours if you'd like to talk about it
Yeah,
and
it
just
was-
get
it
that
was-
rage going.
It was just a great game up until that no call. Like that just completely fucking just. It's honestly the worst no call I've ever seen in any sporting event ever. Playing, watching, anything. I've never seen such a missed call. And it was like in one of the most impactful games of the season. Like this is, like people's lives are ruined now. Like people are going to get cut off that team. They're never going to get another chance to go to a Super Bowl, or fucking staff members are going to they're going to leave. Players are going to retire, you know. Might never get another chance to go to another Super Bowl because some dumb shit that was standing right there on the sidelines fucked up. And I heard that this was the same reffing crew that fucked up the Steelers-Chargers game and missed those fucking calls. It was
Really?
the same fucking crew.
Dude, there's no way someone from that crew doesn't get fired.
Oh,
the more I think about it.
That crew literally shouldn't have even been in the fucking playoffs.
Well,
after that Chargers-Steelers
They're an
game.
elite crew, apparently.
No, they're not elite at all. That guy was standing right there and fucking missed the call. He went to grab the flag and then he just didn't.
But
If
then,
you-
like, none of the other referees, like, argued it. Because,
Well-
like, if he missed it, but someone was on the other side of the field, like, maybe we should huddle up and talk about this. Like, no one did that.
The way that the NFL's refereeing works is like it goes by who's closest to the play, and the other refs can't overturn it because they technically don't have the best view of the play. So like the guy standing right there has like the overruling decision, and he claims that I don't know what the fuck he claims, but
He thought the ball was tipped, so that means that dude has, like, right to do that.
Oh, I thought maybe he thought that it was uncatchable. So then, if it's uncatchable, you're allowed to hit.
No, you still can't just.
Oh, you're
fucking
still
drill
not allowed
wide
to.
receiver. No.
So
Yeah,
I
it
was-
was definitely, regardless if it wasn't pass interference,
It was
which
still
it
a
was.
hit on a
it was- yeah,
defenseless receiver.
and head-to-head. Like, he clocked his face.
Yeah, I honestly think that the Super Bowl is tainted now. Like literally, the Rams shouldn't be in it, and it's literally tainted. For the integrity of the game, I'm rooting for the Patriots in the Super Bowl.
Damn. Dude, what
Because
kind of-
if the Rams win, it's just going to be an asterisk beside their fucking name for all of eternity. Like, oh, they shouldn't have even been in this game. But they won the Super Bowl anyways. So I hope for the sake of the NFL that the Patriots whoop their ass. Just so that doesn't happen.
It's terrible for you to lose a game like that under those situations. Very ironic the Steelers lost the same way against the Saints week, whatever that was.
Yeah, but that was a little different.
But, I mean, it still was a missed call that blew the game.
Yeah, but that was
Or
an actual call
bad
that was
call.
just bad. This was just a flat-out no call.
Yeah, but the Saints, they should have won that game, like, still.
Yeah, they should have won that fucking game.
Like, it
I was
sucks,
about to say
like,
that. I don't think that call lost them the
in
game.
that
context,
call 100%
in
lost
context
them the game.
of that play, it lost them the game. But if you get the ball back first in overtime and you choke,
But it should have never gone to overtime.
but it did.
But it should have never gone to overtime.
And plus, the
I
fact
see both
that-
sides, but I'm trying
yes,
to
they
lean
lost
more.
it overtime, but it should have never gone. If the correct call is made, they run out the clock and kick the field goal with no time left, and it doesn't go to overtime.
I understand what you're saying in the sense that, yeah, like, essentially, yes, if that call was called correctly, then all likely the Saints would have
Yeah.
won.
But those calls happen all
But
the time.
The Saints are at
Unfortunately.
home. You're up, what? What was the score after? You're up 13-0 in the first. Then it was, 10. Then it was 10-13. And the Saints had opportunities to close it.
They did, but they had the closing moment right there, and the ref fucked up.
And there's videos that the refs missed a face mask on Jared Goff on the Rams' previous drive.
They missed all kinds of calls in this game.
Exactly.
But this is a defining call in the defining moments of the game. You know what I mean? Like, those calls could go either way. This was a blatant missed call that couldn't have gone either way.
Chance, I agree with you in the sense that if this was called correctly, there is a probably 99 out of 100% chance that, yes, the Saints win. But I think just for all the Saints fans to just purely base it like, woe is us. Like, what the fuck? Like, that one call screwed everything up for us. Like, you had so many other opportunities.
Yes, but that one call did screw them up.
And, like, you had the ball first in overtime.
Oh,
and yes,
I'm not disputing that they lost the game in overtime. Like, they clearly, Drew Brees' interception killed them. But what I'm saying is it should have never came to that point.
They had 50 yards, or not 50. Oh, no, was it 50? It was like they barely had any running yards.
That doesn't matter. Neither did the Rams. What I'm saying is the NFL referee's job that referee's job is to make sure that there's no pass interference on the play, and there was 100% pass interference, and he watched it the entire time and did not call it.
Listen, I'm just saying that I don't think you can do one call makes or breaks a game.
It does that
because there could have been if there was 10 missed penalties, you'd have a completely different game.
It doesn't matter at that point. That call fucks up the entire game.
And plus, it seemed like the whole game they were letting both teams get away with a lot more physical play.
Yeah, but those are, like I said, 50-50 calls. You know, no one fucking drilled Jared Goff after the play and got a no call. This was a 100% pass interference and a hit to the head of a defenseless receiver, and not one of them was called. At the crucial point of the game, completely fucking botched. Should have never gone to overtime. It's just. Botched.
I'm just saying the Saints shouldn't have had it where that.
No,
one
I agree with you.
Like
it
that
should
one
have. It should. I 100% agree with you, but you can't say that call did fuck the game.
No, the call did fuck the game.
It did.
I'm just saying that the Saints shouldn't have been in the spot where that
I'm
one
agreeing
call
with
fucked
you
the
in
game.
that point. I'm just saying you can't do anything about that shit. At that point in the game, it's all about the integrity, and that ref fucked up. He shouldn't be in the league anymore.
Now, do you think there should be a rule change?
Yeah.
I
think you should be able to review everything.
You think you should be able to review everything?
Everything.
I don't think
in
so.
hockey, you can review everything. And if you fuck up, you lose your challenge.
You can't review penalties.
Well, you can review offsides and shit.
Yeah. But I think if you start reviewing penalties, especially pass interference, it's going to slow the game down tremendously.
Here's the problem I see with that. Is that I see both sides and I'll check everything and then don't check everything, just like kind of how it is now. Is that if you start saying, like on that play, like obviously then yes, that is the most like, yeah, challenge that one. Clearly that was pass interference. Yep, pass interference, first down. But there would be 100 more times where it's those 50-50 plays, or it's one of those things where it's like, oh, I want to challenge pass interference on that. Well, then what happens if there was holding back on like the defensive line? Or like what if an offensive guy held a defensive guy? Then is there going to be a flag then?
Or like what if it's not definitive enough to say that's pass interference or not? Or like
well,
what if
it's
this
not
guy says
definitive enough,
it is or
you
not?
still challenge it, and it goes by the ruling on the field just like any other play in football.
I just think it will slow it down.
I don't think it'll slow it down anymore.
I heard this on the radio. Like you get one penalty challenge per game, and like if you lose the call, or like every half you don't get another one. You get one per game no matter what. I think that would be.
No,
better.
that's fine. That's what I'm. I'm not saying you should be able to review every penalty. I'm saying you should have like a limited number.
Oh,
I thought you meant
like
no.
Well, you said everything should be able to be reviewed.
Yeah, it should. As in with the challenges you already have.
Okay,
See,
that makes more sense.
I think if they did it where it was like a flag, like kind of like how you have challenge flags now.
Yeah, that's how it should be. It should be exactly like
Use it
that.
exactly
but you
the
should
same.
be able to do penalties.
But now, see, here's the thing: is that if you say, like, see, the thing is like then it could become into so much different things where it's like. If someone scores like a touchdown, you could call and be like, "Hey, my offensive lineman was held."
No,
kinda.
you should have to fully describe what you're challenging, and they can't look at anything else. They just look at that part.
Okay, well then, yeah, I could see in that sense where it's very
say
specific.
you have a lineman holding, but the defensive guy has pass interference. You have to clarify that you want to challenge the defensive pass interference, and that's the only thing they look at.
Okay, so now if they do that, can the other team then suppose an offensive guy held a defensive lineman? But then it was defensive pass interference. Okay, but like neither of them were called or something.
Well, you're saying the defensive side could challenge the holding.
So you're saying you say the defensive side challenges, hey, or the offensive side challenges, hey, that was pass interference on that guy. And then they look and they're like, yeah, that was pass interference. And then the other side says, well, my guy was held at the line. So then you have 2 fouls on both different teams. Then what happens? Then do you just annul
As I
both
said, it has to be definitive evidence. Like if it's a blatant holding call that got missed, then they should be able to challenge it. But if it's just like the holding happens on every play in football.
That's exactly my point.
But it has to be definitive evidence, just like any other challenge.
I think the rule should be you can do like 1 per game, but it has to be like part of the play. Like the ball has to be there. So like pass interference, like holding if the running back was using it as a block or something. But if you're saying like the running back sweep left, but the holding was like the receiver on the far right, I don't think you should challenge that because it wasn't part of the play. Well, so I think like you can challenge something if it directly affects the play.
But an offensive lineman holding or a defensive lineman holding or something like that would definitely affect a play because that's pressure on a quarterback.
As I said, if there's definitive evidence, it should be able to be challenged regardless of what it is. And it should be the same rules as any other challenge now. You have 1 challenge. If you win, you get another one. If you lose, your challenges are done.
Now, see, do you think this should be? What about something where it happens maybe in like the last 2 minutes? Like there's different rules.
If it's reviewable, yeah, it should be the same rules for challenges or not challenges for reviewable plays in the final 2 minutes.
Because in the NBA, there's a rule where it's like after the last 2 minutes, I think they're like allowed to look at like everything.
That's
after
how
the last 2 minutes.
College and that's how the NFL.
So, but like before that, you can't like maybe it's like an off bounds or something like that. If it's before that 2 minutes, they don't check it. They're just like, nope, that's what we're going with. We're going that it was off you. And then they go from there, I think.
Every play should just be reviewed after 2 minutes, just like it is now, but without penalties. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And then, now, do you think... See, this was even brought up, is that just have someone in New York who just watches it all the time.
That's how it should be, yeah.
And just watches it. And then they can even say, hey, there was a penalty on that last play. Would you guys think that would work, or do you think that would even be kind of more...
I think maybe like if you have one guy like that per... I don't know, like maybe league, that'd be per game. Like one's assigned to a game and only they're allowed to challenge it.
Or it was even something where it's like if you have one guy, suppose you have one guy in New York watching a game, and maybe it was something like that where there wasn't a foul called, and he calls up, he said, hey, check that play. Where like he can just call and tell the referees, hey, stop it and check that play and see if there's a penalty or not.
Yeah,
maybe not like for every little nitpicky thing, but maybe something
like
egregious.
I said, like a blatant, like if there's like a pass interference and it doesn't get called, I think that like
there has to be a way to
in the final 2 minutes, like I think that the coach should say like, hey, I want this reviewed because it's under 2 minutes, and then they go up and they check it.
But see, then I feel like you can get. I just feel like you almost have to have it where like the coach almost has to be extremely specific. Like,
no, that's
I want to check
agreeing.
for holding on number X. On my number Y.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Because if you're just like, oh, I want a holding on the offensive line.
No, that's what I meant. Like, you have to have definitive evidence of what you're... Like, you have to describe exactly what you're challenging. Not just like... You can't just say, like, oh, I'm challenging for holding. Like, any of the 5 linemen could have been holding. Like, no, you have to say, like, the fucking left tackle, like, threw my guy on the ground by the face mask. Clear holding, you missed it. I want to challenge it. That's how it should be.
See, I can see... I think the best idea is just use, like, a normal flag. You can challenge it, and then if you don't get the penalty your way, you lose the timeout.
Exactly. That's what I said. But I don't think it'll make the game any slower. You already have fucking 50,000 commercial breaks. Just do that split screen bullshit that they do now.
Yeah, just keep it like limited number. Like when I said that, I thought you meant like anytime they want.
Yeah, the way you first said it was like any play, anytime.
I meant anything should be reviewable.
Okay,
not that
sense.
you can constantly keep reviewing. It should be the same challenge rules. Just anything can be challenged.
And I think you should get like 1 per game.
That's
like,
how it
no matter
is.
what.
One, and if you win it, you get another one. If you lose, you're done for the game.
Fair enough. We're solving, the NFL's problems at this point.
Yeah, they're gonna listen.
Now, here's the other thing I want to point out about that game. Did you think Sean Payton mishandled the clock at the end there? How he did the 2 pass plays and 1 running play.
Yeah, but if he would have looked like a genius if Michael Thomas caught the ball and Drew Brees threw it a little higher. That was a high percentage throw that usually it's 99 out of 100 times.
Well, Drew Brees threw it straight in the dirt.
Yeah, I know. That was on him.
Well, yeah, and that, stuff like that happens. But do you think that if he would have just played it, just run, or like run 1 throw in there somewhere and then a run, and give the Rams nearly next to nothing to even try?
I still think the Rams would have drove down the field and kicked the field goal.
You think?
Yeah, 100%. He was playing to get the first down, and I 100% agree with that. the Rams have a great offense,
Mhm.
and as you saw, they didn't need a timeout or that much time just to drive down. And their kicker has a fucking
He's a
fucking
rocket.
boot. He has a cinder block for a fucking foot.
That
Like
was an
It was a
insane
48
kick.
yard. The first one was a 48-yard field goal. Then it was a 57-yard field goal for
Crazy.
the win.
Like the guy is fucking. He's nails. But I think that I like this strategy. I don't have a problem with that. I have a problem with the fucking missed call.
So I don't know. I just feel like if he obviously that call aside, I'm done talking about that call for right now. But just run it twice. Like you've Kamara or Ingram back there, just run it and just try to eat up some of that clock.
No,
'cause-
I agree with that. But like I said, he threw a high percentage throw that Breeze fucked up.
Mhm.
Low throw, and then he ran it on second down. The Rams called a timeout. So third down, you basically have to try and get the first down, or the Rams are getting the ball back with a minute regardless.
And then on the throw for that play, that the non-call, do you think that ball could have been easily intercepted?
If the guy would have turned around and wasn't drilling the fucking wide receiver for pass interference,
That was the other thing brought up, is that that ball could have easily been
it could
picked
have,
off.
which makes the call even worse because he could have picked it off, but instead he was already tackling the
Yeah,
wide
he was-
receiver.
Like I said, it was a horrible miscall. Horrible miscall.
The worst in NFL history. Literally going to change rules.
Now, on the other side of the football, Sean McVay and Jared Goff, I thought they looked pretty good.
Goff looked okay.
I thought Goff looked pretty good for himself. In that last bit, he drove him down the field. What was it? Drove him down 45 yards to get that field goal at the end of the game in crunch time in the Superdome. So
I don't think this was Sean McVay's best game coaching. I don't understand why he kept Todd Gurley on the sidelines for 90% of the game. Still doesn't make any sense. He's your best player, but
now, do you think they were just trying to go with a hot running back for that? Is that the C.J. Anderson was just but I guess Todd Gurley did really good last game too.
yeah, it made no sense to anybody. And they still haven't come out with an actual reason. But
Like I said, I thought Goff actually looked legit. I think he's easily a franchise quarterback.
I think if he stays with Sean McVay, he will be a franchise quarterback. I think he's a system quarterback. I think if you put him on another team, he'd blow ass. Which is what we saw his rookie year when he had Jeff Fisher as his head coach. He sucked.
Yeah, but no one has been good under Jeff Fisher.
No, but there's not too many good coaches out there.
That's true. All right, is there anything else you guys want to talk about with this game?
No.
Or can we go on to
Please, let's go on.
Super Bowl, baby?
I want to save my prediction for next week. I got to think about it.
Yeah, I think we should hold off on Super Bowl predictions.
Do you at least want to talk about it a little bit,
I
or
mean, if we can talk about it, yeah, but I think
we don't have to go
Save
in
it.
depth. We can do a slight
we
grazing
could
of
make
it.
our Pro Bowl predictions.
Yeah. But actually, one thing I wanted to bring up and kind of transferred in is that you said about how you think if Goff was with any other quarterback, he might not be as good. So do you see kind of some comparisons with the Goff, McVay, and the obviously way more successful Brady and Belichick? Is it going to be one of those things that in 10 years we're going to look and be like, is it Goff or is it McVay or is it Brady or is it Belichick?
No, I agree. I've always thought Brady's kind of a system quarterback, especially at the beginning of his career. Now I think he's actually really intelligent, really good. He knows what the fuck he's doing. But he's had all kinds of different offensive coordinators. So, I mean, he's proven that he's fucking good no matter who's coaching him now. But I think that if he would have got drafted to a different team, he might have never fucking played, and we'd be in a different scenario.
It'd be a whole nother. The Steelers could have one for the other thumb. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's no way in fucking hell.
So I'm just saying, I thought that was really interesting. Is that both, it was I could easily see it being one of those things where in 10 years it's McVay and Goff. Who's the one who's winning them championships, or who's the one who's keeping them relevant? Is it Goff or is it McVay?
Yeah, I agree. At this point, I think it's McVay. Like I said, they had basically the same team before McVay took over, and they were fucking horrible. And then McVay shows up, and last year they make the playoffs in his first year. And then this year they go to the Super Bowl in his second year. It's just insane.
No, I think McVay is a great coach, and I think Goff is a good young quarterback. I think he's probably in the top 3 young quarterbacks. If you take Mahomes 1, I don't know who you would take 2. I'd probably put maybe Goff 2.
I would probably put Goff too.
Because I don't know how you really feel about Wentz.
I think Goff's done more than Wentz.
I would agree with that. Yeah, I think Goff is better than Wentz, but it's also, coaches and stuff like that. Is McVay better offensive coach than Peterson is?
I'd say they're about even.
So,
But I'd take Nick Foles over Carson Wentz, honestly.
So interesting tidbit came out of Philadelphia this week, is that players were bitching about pretty much Carson Wentz, wanting Nick Foles to stay, and pretty much for the Eagles to trade Carson Wentz. Did you hear about this, Lucas?
Yeah, that's wild.
And that they were saying that pretty much Carson Wentz, he's not as coachable as Foles is.
They obviously do better under Foles, so their attitude obviously changes. It's crazy.
James, what do you think about this?
No, I agree with them. If I'm the Eagles, I think I keep Foles and I trade Carson Wentz because, like, I think it was 2 weeks ago after the Eagles were eliminated, another team's GM said that he would give the next 2 first-round picks, like the next 2 years, and a player for Carson Wentz right now. So I think that, and this, like, the Eagles right now are in like a window to win championships. They have like a bunch of older players, expensive players that like their contracts are coming up, and they have kind of like a shitty salary cap situation. So I would fucking trade Carson Wentz and get 2 young players that can help impact my team now. And then in like 3 or 4 years when Foles retires, draft another quarterback.
See, here's my problem with this, is that, so if you trade Carson Wentz, you essentially have your quarterback that you can have for 15 years with Carson Wentz. Granted, he is kind of injury prone at this point a little bit. And yes, you have one more with Big Dick Nick, you know. But I just think it's a very difficult trade to trade Carson Wentz.
Yeah, but he hasn't done anything. In his 3 years, he hasn't done shit. He's been hurt, too.
He was almost MVP 2 years ago before he got hurt?
It was last year.
Yeah, last year he was on track to be MVP.
Yeah, but was it him
hurt.
or was it the team and the coaching staff around him? Nick Foles fucking led them to the Super Bowl and won Super Bowl MVP.
You're not going to win with Wentz. You're not going to win with an old Foles or whoever your next quarterback is, so you might as well get the picks.
And now,
that's a lot of value, like 2 first-round picks. That's crazy.
But see, here's the other thing. What happens if... Do you remember whenever Foles started this year and he looked terrible at the beginning of the year?
Yeah, but I think that was just the whole team in general. Coming off the Super Bowl hangover, didn't really know. They lost their offensive coordinator and their coach, or their quarterback coach.
Yeah, I'm not saying Foles is the answer, but if you can get a lot for Wentz, it might be worth it.
I think trading Wentz makes your team better.
I just think it's a very high risk, kind of high reward, in the fact that so you trade and you get some picks and maybe a player to win now.
Yeah.
Whereas then you got to go back into we got to try to find a quarterback to draft and so on and so forth.
But as I said, their team is built to win now and not 4 years down the road when Carson Wentz develops into a good quarterback, even if he does develop into that.
So you guys are trading Carson Wentz?
Yeah, I would trade him.
Depends what I get.
I would trade him for 2 first-round picks and the player.
You wouldn't try to trade like Foles or something? I mean, obviously he's...
Foles, you're not getting anything. You're getting maybe a 3rd, 4th-round pick.
You don't think some team would be stupid enough to pay him?
No. Fucking the Eagles traded Sam Bradford for a first-round pick like 4 years ago, and he did absolute jack shit. No team is ever going to trade another first-round pick for him.
But everyone knows it's a fluke. They know Foles can't sustain that.
That's what I'm saying. That's my thing, is that if you trade away Wentz... What happens if you get and Foles just completely sucks ass?
But at least you got some high picks.
Yeah, what if Foles or Wentz never develops into anything?
I mean, that is also very...
Because right now he hasn't done anything. He's been hurt 2 years. I know he had that great season last year, but like I said, I think that's more on the coaching staff and the players that were around him than Wentz himself.
I guess I just have a higher opinion on Wentz on that one, so fair enough.
And his neck boils. Did you see those?
Dude, he's one ugly fucker. He's got some acne problems. You think millions of dollars could buy you some Accutane?
No, dude. It just buys you a bunch of attractive women. That's how that works.
That works.
All right. Well, I think that's pretty much all we got. Oh wait, Pro Bowl. Chance, who do you got for the Pro Bowl?
Fuck, I don't know.
I don't even know who's on the Pro Bowl.
I'm not even gonna watch the fucking thing.
Does anyone ever watch it?
No, I don't watch it.
It's honestly trash. They don't even try.
Listen, whenever Odell Beckham was able to get in to be a cornerback or whatever, you knew it was a joke ever since then. So what was that, 2 years ago? Is he in the Pro Bowl this year, Odell?
I don't think.
Probably not.
Damn, dude. That's the other thing. It's like the crazy, do you think the people who are just instantly in it aren't in it? So, wild, dude. All right, Lucas, you got some NHL news for us?
Nope.
Nothing?
I told you this is the start of the podcast.
Oh, still.
All-Star break.
It's All-Star break right now. That's why there's no news.
No, fair enough. What all Penguins are All-Stars?
Crosby and Letang.
Not Malkin?
No, he's not doing good.
He's having a horrible. He's not having a bad
yeah,
season.
he's getting a point per game, but he hasn't scored an even strength goal since beginning of October.
He's having the shittiest 2-month, 3-month fucking.
It's rough.
Really?
Because he balled out at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, and not having Schultz behind him is a huge factor. So luckily he's coming back soon. But rip.
Trade deadline.
We're only a couple points back from first place in Metro, even though we've lost a couple of games. We're still fine.
That's right, Lucas.
Capitals are on a 6-game losing streak.
Yeah.
Fuck the Capitals.
They
Or is
lost
it fuck
last
the
night.
Flyers only?
They've placed the San Jose Sharks on Tuesday night. They were winning, and then the Sharks scored with 0.4 seconds left to tie it up, go to OT, and the Sharks won. It was pretty great.
We should go to another game. That was a good time. We should go for another.
Monday's bobblehead night, or Tuesday, I think.
Who is it? Who's the bobblehead?
Crystal Tang.
Tempting. Well, it's all right, Lucas. Since it's the All-Star break for you guys, NBA, there's still action going on, which the All-Stars will be announced. Well, since this will go out Friday, they were announced yesterday, but since we're recording it Wednesday, we don't know who it is. So we're going to avoid that. But there were a couple things that happened. Melo to the Bulls, people. Carmelo Anthony is now part of the Chicago Bulls after being traded from the Houston Rockets for pretty much money. Pretty much Houston gave Chicago Bulls, they're like, take this money and take Carmelo Anthony because we need the open roster spot for Kenneth Faried. So Melo is now in the Bulls. He's expected to be bought out, and the Lakers are now the favorite to sign Carmelo.
Is he even good?
No.
Should he be on an NBA roster? Yes. He is good enough to be on an NBA roster.
But he's not going to make the Lakers better.
I don't see what any team, any contending team, I don't see what he goes and adds to.
Isn't that crazy, though? He was, one of the best players, 10 years ago.
He left New York and just, died, pretty much.
Crazy.
And he was even dying in New York. Because he never evolved his game. He's like an early 2000s player. He's a bigger body, not super athletic, lives in the mid-range, and now the game is all about either close layup and dunks or three-pointers.
Threes.
So
Didn't Klay score 30 points last night?
He
on,
was
10 consecutive threes.
He was a perfect 10 for 10, which is a NBA record from the Golden State Warriors. Another one. Who would have thought?
How many did he break this year alone?
Who the fuck knows?
At least 3.
He alone has so many. It's crazy. Everyone talks about Steph and KD, but
oh, it's so underrated.
Klay Thompson is such an underrated player, and he actually has a ton of records as well too. That's the thing. He actually has a 3-point record. For most threes in a game, Klay Thompson has it, not Steph Curry. He has the most points in a quarter, 37. He himself scored 37, which I think he was a perfect 13 for 13 and 9 for 9 from 3. It's crazy how good he is, and he's the third or fourth best player on that team.
Because I think Steph and KD actually can dribble the ball. I don't think Klay Thompson knows how to dribble. They just feed him in the slot and he just
dribbles
bangs
and
threes.
shoots. That's what he does.
He doesn't even do that sometimes. Yeah. But I think Klay can put the ball on the floor. It's just one of those things where it's why?
Yeah, there's no need to.
I can no one's gonna double team me. Everyone's gonna double team either Steph or KD or DeMarcus Cousins at this point, and I'm just gonna get wide open shots. So DeMarcus Cousins also played his first game for the Warriors. The Warriors beat the Clippers. He's on a minutes restriction, but he looked pretty fucking good too. He hit 5 3-pointers for him.
I saw Draymond score 6 points.
Oh, dude, Draymond, it's great because Draymond's not gonna get it. Draymond is gonna rip the team apart, and I can't wait. Because he's going to want a big contract, and they're going to be like, Draymond, you were terrible except for your defense. We're not going to pay you. And then he's going to be pissed. So the Lakers, Heat, Blazers, and the 76ers are currently favored to get Melo. So I hope he just goes to the Heat, play with Dwayne Wade, retire at the same time. It'd be fucking cute. You know what I mean? Just be done already, Melo. Or go to China. That'd be cool. China Melo. Imagine that. They'd probably even let him wear a hoodie the whole time.
Yao Ming. My guy.
Who do you play for, Lucas?
I need to make
Rockets.
Oh, okay.
I need to make a request from the viewers. We need to send our prayers to Lonzo Ball's ankle.
Did he get injured?
Oh yeah, he's out I think.
Wait, did you say he got traded too?
No, he didn't get traded. He was on the trading block. But he's not
He
traded.
has a high ankle sprain. He's out a
Ooh,
month.
Literally,
that's gonna affect the rest of his career.
All of the Lakers ball handlers are injured. LeBron's injured, Rondo's injured, and Lonzo Ball are injured. I tried to watch them play last night or the other night against the Warriors. They were playing against the Warriors, and I couldn't watch. It was so bad and so Like, you need someone out there to run the point.
So you're taking a team of 3 people from the bench against an all-star Warrior team. They
You're-
lose by 90 points.
You're taking a team of 5 all-stars against 3 okay starters and 2 bench players, yes. And guess who won that game, Lucas?
Golden State over, I'm going to say plus 50.
No, it wasn't plus 50. They did score
Did
50.
they sit Steph and them?
Probably not. They probably didn't play in the fourth quarter. But Steph actually almost fell, and it almost looked like he got injured. So that would have been not funny, but that would have been really ironic.
Was that the one where he had that breakaway?
Yeah,
And
he
he
just slipped and fell on
fucking
the
fell,
floor.
and then he missed that 3.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what
It was
a
an air
clip.
ball.
He's about due for another injury.
Well,
It
so see,
happens
here's the
every couple
thing.
months.
It was like a 30-point game at that point. So it's like normally in basketball, it's like you just pull your stars. If it's a 20-point game in the end of third, beginning of the fourth quarter, you don't play your stars because they could get injured on plays just like that. And so people were actually worried at first because it's like he has bad ankles. He is known for his ankle injuries, and he just slipped and
That's so
fell.
funny.
The other news in the league is that Kyrie Irving called his former teammate LeBron James after complaining about all the young people on the Celtics because
What?
last year, as everyone remembers, the Celtics were in the Game 7 conference finals against LeBron without Kyrie Irving or Gordon Hayward, mainly because they're 2 young stars, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. Well, since Kyrie Irving and Gordon Hayward are back, those young players have to take a seat, which they obviously don't want to do because they say, hey, we made it to the conference final last year without you, so we don't need you. So Kyrie came out and told reporters that he called LeBron apologizing, saying that he didn't realize how he was being like that young guy that was just so difficult to work with, and he wanted the whole world to himself, and blah 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 blah. And ironically, guess who LeBron James was with whenever he received the call from Kyrie Irving?
Should I know this?
Probably not. Kevin Love. He was with Kevin Love.
Okay.
The third person in their winning championship because the Cavs were playing in LA that time. So it was just this whole weird thing that Kyrie Irving came out with, which is actually the most LeBron move possible, because he brought it up. LeBron didn't bring it up. He brought it up to pretty much call out his younger players, saying, "Hey, I just called it to LeBron to apologize because I was that young dumb idiot. So now you guys are the young dumb idiots who should listen to me because I'm pretty much LeBron James right now." So
Is he going to the Lakers?
see, here's the
Heavy
problem.
hype.
Here's the problem is that people then started thinking, is Kyrie going to leave the Celtics and go play with LeBron and the Lakers? I hope not. I really
I
do.
hope
Let's get him
so.
and Kevin Love over.
Yeah, that'd be
Let's rebuild
sick.
the Cavs.
I tell you what, trade Lonzo and Brandon Ingram to the Cavs, and you can have Kevin Love. I'd do that deal tomorrow.
Kevin Love and what's his fucking face? Henny Man.
J.R. Smith.
J.R.
Does he
Smith.
still play?
Yeah,
Is he good?
well, technically no, he hasn't played because he's away from the team because the team won't play him, and so he gets pissed because he doesn't get any playing time. So they pretty much said, "Hey, J.R. Smith is his name." They said, "Hey, J.R. just stay at home. We'll pay you. Just stay at home. Collect your your $15 million paycheck and just sit at home."
Maybe he's
please."
helping that kid from Philly with his free throws.
Markelle Fultz.
Markelle Fultz.
Hey, Markel's finally made it back to Philly. He's
Did
not
he?
playing, but he's still in Philly with an injured shoulder. So the worst number 1 overall pick.
Damn, that shoulder's been injured for months.
Dude, he's biggest bust of a pick for the number 1 overall. Especially when you look at the people behind him being Jason Tatum and Donovan Mitchell and
Why don't they just get rid of him at this point? Like, why even keep him around? You could get something for him, couldn't you?
that's the thing is like no like what are you gonna get from him? Here's the thing is you spent the number 1 overall pick.
But he's not doing anything. So.
But here's the thing: is that what you would get baback for him is like a tenth of what
Fuck
that
it.
number 1 pick is worth.
It's better than nothing.
J.R. Smith is number 1. Are you talking about J.R. Smith?
No,
I'm
Markelle
talking about
Fultz.
Oh,
Markelle
okay.
Fultz.
I was gonna say I don't think J.R. Smith was number 1 pick. I don't
No.
know much, but
No. So essentially, Philly's hope is that if we can get him back and he can even be just like a bench player, he will be more value than what we will get back from him at this point. Because I know for the longest time I was like, man, maybe the Cavs could trade for him. Just really blow it up at this point. You know what I mean? Because I'm waiting for the trade deadline for everyone just to get traded. But then I was like, he literally can't even play. Like, he cannot shoot a basketball. He literally he yelled from pain every time he shot the basketball. That is like a recorded thing.
that's so fucked.
Was that real or is that fake?
No, that's like a real thing. Like, every time he would shoot the ball, he would like kind of make like a little yelp of pain.
Could you imagine being so good at basketball, better than anyone in the country of your age? You get picked number 1 in the greatest basketball organization on the planet, and you can't even play. Can you imagine that?
Yeah, imagine being but imagine still collecting like $10 million a year. Imagine that. Yeah, well, yeah, that's the thing is a lot of people are saying it's actually more of a psychological thing at this point because
It has
imagine
to
being Lucas, imagine being like a hockey player. I mean, you are a hockey player.
What do you mean imagine?
A professional hockey player, and then you just like can't skate the next day. The next day you're like, I don't know how to ice
Your
skate.
leg hurts every time you touch the ice.
Well, that's just part of being a pro. Like, you have to have those calm nerves. And if you don't have it, you're not a pro.
Well, he is technically a pro, but who knows for how long.
Was he drafted right out of high school, or did he go to college?
He went to Washington, I think, college, which he was everyone presumed him to be the number 1 overall pick. That's the thing. And what he was supposed to be would have paired great with Ben Simmons because he was supposed to be an athletic, defending, 3-point shooting 2 guard. And, well, technically a 1, but he would have played the 2. And then next thing you know, it's like, sorry, you got a bust there, bud. So, needless to say, it's
What a guy.
it's pretty bad there. J.R. Smith was selected 18 overall. Lucas, just for the heads up.
When in 1995.
In 2004, he was actually drafted after the draft after LeBron. Fun fact for the day. Sorry, I was really curious because I thought he was actually a higher pick. J.R. used to be really good back in the day.
On the Knicks.
On the Denver, then on the Knicks, he was decent. So
Him and Melo both go from Denver to the Knicks.
yeah, think about that, dude. I think Cavs should sign Melo. It's that simple, dude. Get JR and Melo out there just jacking up shots. That's all I want to see.
What a club.
All right, let's see. There really isn't very many video game news either. There's new Fortnite season, Lucas. I know you're excited about that.
No, it's actually trash. Like,
Really?
yeah, it's terrible. It's like an ice storm. There's fucking fog everywhere. You can't see anything.
Didn't they add like zombies?
There's
to it or
these
some
fucking ice zombies. Like, you shoot them, you gain shield, which everyone was bitching about there not being enough shield in the game anymore after a couple updates because they were just stupid weapon spawns instead of shield spawns. So it's an easy way to get shield. They drop cool items, but like there's a couple like big giant golden ones that take forever to kill. And if you don't kill them but they spawn, they'll just go to you, and if you're in a build, they just fucking take down your build. They just
Really?
destroy everything around you unless you kill them. It's stupid. Very, very bad update.
Is this now in this because the Game of Thrones is coming back? Isn't Game of Thrones coming back soon?
in April.
I don't know
April.
what the fuck.
What if that's what it is, Lucas?
I don't know.
I think
Winter is coming.
I think
you
they're
know
just
what I
trying to copy Blackout and with the zombies. And
They,
that fucking-
I think they needed a solution for the shield problem, but they did not do it right. No streamer likes it.
And now that brings me to my next point: is Fortnite? Are we finally starting to see the end of Fortnite?
Hopefully.
I don't.
All the major streamers are starting to play other games like Sea of Thieves, the next game.
I don't think Sea of Thieves is going to get nearly as big as Fortnite.
No, not in any which way. No, I don't think so.
I think
but
it'll be as big for like 1 week, and then everyone's gonna get bored from
Yeah,
watching it.
it's gonna
because
die down.
It's not very fun to watch anymore.
No. And believe me, I've tried like watching Summit's stream. It's only fun. Like just watch highlights afterwards.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
the
what I
only
was
thing
going to
fun
say. Like,
watch.
it's only fun to watch people play Sea of Thieves like in the highlight videos, because watching someone tuck on a ship for 2 hours to steal one chest, it's not fun to watch.
There's like there was a
Commentary is fun, but still.
Summit brought up some like someone sent him like a clip or something, and it was like the description was, I was sitting on this boat for 3 hours about to get this Athena chest, and then this happened, and like another boat rolled up and like sunk them pretty much. So like this dude sat up in this crow's nest for 3 hours, and he was streaming too. That was the thing. He
Yeah,
was a
people say
streamer.
BRs are boring.
Could you imagine just sitting there for 3 hours, just like, I don't even know what you like. You'd just be like a fucking creep, just spying on people.
I'm sure it's I kind of want to try to play it like that way, like go on people's ships and steal them. I'm not saying hide for hours, but like just go kill them and steal them. That might be fun.
See, I feel like it'd be more fun just to like go and
Draw
then,
penises on their maps.
okay, Summit. But so, now here's the other thing that happens. So now if everyone starts playing super aggressive,
No one's gonna have treasure.
no one's gonna have treasure.
Everyone's just gonna be pirates.
It'd be like imagine if you have a herd of sheep and one wolf. Okay, that wolf is gonna be well off. It can eat for days. Imagine if you just have a pack of wolves. What are you gonna
With
do?
one sheep.
Exactly. So
Yeah, it's a good point. It's definitely not going to sustain, but
But no, I just think it's interesting that I think streamers are finally starting to get sick and tired of Fortnite and all of its changes, and just I think after playing a game for a year, you just have to kind of get tired
And they're
of it.
definitely riding the hype train.
Oh, yeah.
They're bandwagon. It's just how it is.
Dude, Ninja, do you think Ninja will die with Fortnite, or do you think Ninja will just?
I literally think he's like under contract and he's like forced to play it at this point.
You think?
Yeah, I think like he has sponsors that he'll lose if he doesn't play it.
If he doesn't play Fortnite?
I don't know.
I'd-
But I'm fucking Tim the Tap Man's the fucking coolest dude ever. Like I watch his stream all day. Like I'll have it on at work and just like, cause he just like does, just chatting for a couple hours every day. He's so fun. Like he seems like a great dude.
Because I'm gonna walk you back down memory lane here. Like a year ago, whenever I was in college, I watched Tim the Tap Man play Overwatch. And I told you guys, I said, hey, I watch a streamer, Tim the Tap Man.
Dude, I watch Tim Tap Man videos all the time, but I never watch streams.
And I remember it was one of you two I said, you guys should check it out. And then the next day you were like, yeah, I checked it out. He wasn't that good. He wasn't a good streamer.
I never watched any streams until recently because I never like got into it, but I've been watching like nothing but Twitch for the past like maybe month.
Lucas, what were you watching today on Twitch?
I was just scrolling through the browse section, see what kind of games are popular, and like I said, I like watching Tim just chatting, so I clicked on the just chatting filter, and there was a lady, she was playing Just Dance, so I was watching it for a couple minutes.
And how was the gameplay in that?
Phenomenal.
What was her Twitch name? Can we give her a shout
I don't fucking know.
All right, guys. Well, I think
Hold on. Before you end it, I did just think of some video game news.
Okay,
today.
tell it.
Star Wars Battlefront 2 released Count Dooku as a hero today.
Oh,
New hero.
Wow, sick content.
He looks just like Christopher Lee, bro.
I'm sure it
So-
looks cool, but
now do you have to pay for that
I
content?
wish there were more Star Wars
No,
games.
you have to like unlock it in the game, but it's like,
Oh, is it the same thing like the other characters, like with
yeah,
the?
you just have to pay it with the credits or whatever.
All right, another quick question for you as we're ending this, for me to think of here. Would you guys rather have a game come out and be just done, or would you rather have a game that comes out like 75% and then the developers finish as the time goes on?
I think it should come out 100% done, but then they should make it 120%. They should always add on to it. They shouldn't leave shit out just to add it on later.
Yeah, I think the new thing with games now is they come out and then they just continuously add on like over months to like keep the game alive, which I have no problem with. I think it's a good idea. But
They should make it more complete on the start.
They should be complete when they come out.
I guess whenever I say 75% complete, and then whenever the game comes out, it's still a complete game, but they definitely have plans to add on to it.
Yeah, I like adding
months.
content.
For free stuff.
Yeah, it keeps it fresh, but as long as it's not intruding on the original release.
See, I like the games or the subscription for games, or however whatever the terms is, where they just keep game going, like Rainbow and stuff like that. And
I think more games should follow the microtransaction for cosmetics only. Like I have no problem with games that do that, and then give DLC for free because they make money off the microtransactions for cosmetics. I think that's like the only way that microtransactions are worth it.
Well, I feel like companies probably make more money that way for sure.
Oh, they do.
Because if you think about it, like if you played Fortnite like crazy, think about all the money. It's a free game, but think about all the money you spend on skins and shit like that.
Oh,
You know what I
those
mean?
people are buying those fucking, what are they, passes or whatever?
Yeah, you buy like battle
Season pass.
passes.
Battle pass.
It's like, was it $5 or $10? Something
$10 for a season pass, I think.
Yeah,
right?
then I think it might be 20,
Is it 20?
maybe,
If
or
it's 20,
15.
they're
I don't know.
fucking
But
mad.
each skin's like $5.
And people just buy.
They buy every skin. There's skins every fucking day.
Is there new skins every day?
I'm pretty sure every 24 hours. It's maybe not new, but
But, like,
you're
another
only
section.
offered. I think it's very stupid. You only offered like 2 skins a day. Like I want to browse the stock and
And they
fucking buy
rotate every day.
Well,
Yeah.
see, the problem with that then, Lucas, though, is that like if you had a whole list of all the skins,
You wouldn't want to buy any more because you pretty much have them all.
you'd just be like, I really like only that one, so I'll buy that
Yeah,
one.
so I mean
Whereas
it works. I'm
before
just
it'd
saying
be-
personally, I wish you could cycle through 'em.
Oh yeah, but you gotta think about it from a business and
Yeah,
that
it obviously works. They're fucking gazillionaires.
like why the hell would you not? I'm trying to look here. I can't find a price to confirm of how much, but I'm
Might
pretty
be
sure.
15 or 10.
Huh?
15 or 10.
I think though with the battle pass, like if you play, because obviously you buy V-Bucks and then that's how it goes. But I think with the battle pass, if you get all the way to level 100, like you completely fill it out, it actually pays for your next season because you get like 1,000 V-Bucks, which is how much it costs. So, I mean, in that way, like it's smart Because, like, yeah, you could essentially only buy one and
Yeah,
then just keep it
it's
going.
a shame that it's what it, like Fortnite is Fortnite because that system works. Like they have fairly cheap cosmetics. They're only cosmetics. There's a bunch of variety, new seasons all the time, like free everything. So that's definitely how it should work.
And I think, I mean, Chance, I know how much you hate Fortnite, but I think it is a great, like, system of how it's set up in the sense that, like, it's a free game, so everyone can download it and go play it.
No, I agree. I still think it's bullshit that they're still ripping people off by advertising the base game for $30 at GameStop.
Oh
and shit.
yeah.
Oh, the Save the World one.
Yeah, the actual game
That we got.
yeah.
Was it any fun?
It was fun for like 2 days, and then it's like repetitive.
Was
as
it the
fuck.
same you could build?
Yeah, you could build.
Was
but,
the shooting
like,
mechanics the same?
Yeah, it was the same game.
It was
but
more RPG.
those zombies that they just added were like in the base game.
Yeah.
And like you had to build and like
Husks.
defend your shit from them.
That'd be kind of cool though.
But like, so pretty much what it was is like you were thrown onto like the map or whatever. Not the map in the game, like different maps like throughout the world. And then it was like you had to find like these reactors. Then you'd have to build a fort, and then you'd fight off waves of enemies. And like it was RPG in the sense that like you could get schematics and like for different guns and stuff, and then you'd have to build the guns. So like you'd have before you built your fort, you'd have to scavenge for materials and stuff, then do that. And then you also had like one main fort where every like 5 levels you'd have to go back to your main fort to defend like tons of horde zombies. But like that main fort was like supposed to be this big built up fort that had like all your traps and stuff. So it was cool in the sense of like what it was, but
Wasn't like sustainable.
I don't know. It was kind of boring.
It was
very
boring after a
repetitive.
couple days.
Me and Chance probably played it for like a week, and then we were like, yeah, we're kind of over this. And then they came out with the battle royale and so on and so forth. So, all right, Chance. Any other last minute news that you're thinking of?
Fuck, I don't know. Pretty hungry.
Oh, I'm starved. I can't wait to. I'm going to go to McDonald's. I think
How many Big Macs are you eating, Lucas?
at least 4.
Disgusting. All right,
Oh
everybody.
my god.
Thank you for listening to episode 23 of Trash Your Radio. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at Trash Your Sports.
Dab on them.
Subscribe to
just
the
did.
YouTube. Lucas with a great dab, grade A dab right there. Follow us on YouTube, Spotify, Google Play. Check us out everywhere. We're out there. Tell your friends about us. And thanks for listening.
Peace.
See you on the next one.
YOLO.